Now, in a gut-wrenching incident that happened in Hyderabad, a child was mauled, mutilated to death by street dogs, and the entire incident has been captured on CCTV. In the video that's on your screen, the child is seen walking down a street when 3 dogs run at him, attack him, manage to pin him down. The young child sustained injuries to his stomach and could not make it. This is not the first time, however, a child has been attacked by stray dogs in this fashion. Similar shocking incidents have been reported from Noida, Mumbai, Lucknow and other places. The victim has been identified as a 5-year-old. His name was Pradeep, a resident of Hyderabad's Bak Ambarpet. The attack took place outside an automobile workshop where the child's father was working as a watchman. Pradeep's body has been shifted to his native village. But this clip that has now gone viral has triggered a massive debate on the stray dog menace. Let's quickly open this up. Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, chairperson of the Nephron, political commentator, Radhika Suryavanshi, campaign manager of PETA India, Ambika Shukla, trustee People for Animals. Now, Ambika Shukla, I want to begin by asking you, now, like I said, this is not an isolated case. This has happened in the past. What do we do about this?
It's not a very common instance because incidents are clubbed together. They tend to seem more common than they are. Actually, these are very rare instances because this is not something that generally happens. Firstly, we do not have dogs. It is not to be seen as an attack. When a child runs, there are very small safety measures that need to be taught. It's funny how we live in an environment where we learn to deal with equipment, we learn to deal with cars, we learn to deal with machinery. Yet we never learn about the animals we share our lives with. There is very little education, very little awareness. The first, very first safety measure for anybody to learn is do not run when you see a dog approaching. A dog does not approach with any ill intent. He's simply coming to see who you are and what you're doing here, because dogs are natural chowkidars. So if you allow a dog to come, sniff you, he'll go along his way. That's all he wants to do. So in the olden days, there was a kahavat, a very famous kahavat, which says, Ped ban jao. When a dog approaches, simply stand still. Allow him to sniff you and go away. That's all he does. But if you run, dogs tend to see anything that's running as a game. They will chase. And then if you're small, like this little boy was, you can fall. And once you've fallen, then dogs, it becomes a game between themselves like taking a ball or taking something. So, it is not to be seen as an attack. It's simply to be seen as an extremely unfortunate tragedy that did happen, and we can learn from it. We need to go ahead from it. We need to learn from it. We need to learn a lot of lessons. The sterilization program.
No, we can learn our lessons. No, Ambika Shukla, you see, all what you've said is, very well. We can learn our lessons, but the people who are dead are not coming back. And we have opened our call-in lines. We want to hear from our viewers also. Abha Singh also joins the panel now. Needs no introduction. Abha Singh, I'm coming to you. Let me bring in a viewer, Krishna, who's on the line from Hyderabad. Sir, good evening. You're on Times Now. Please go ahead.
Are you asking me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I tell you what, this is so ghastly that the CCTV footage shows as if this is an incident that has occurred in a jungle where the prey has been attacked by animals. So therefore, I have a feeling that are we living in a civic environment or in a jungle? I have a feeling that some heads have to roll on this, and then some drastic reactions have to appear.
Completely understand your sentiment, sir. Thank you for connecting. Bhagwan is now joining us from Hyderabad. Sir, good evening.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Good evening. You're on Times Now. Please go ahead.
I'm from Bhagwan from Bangalore.
Yes, sir.
This lady is talking about the dog. You have to don't run away from the dog, etc., etc. Tomorrow it happens to her daughter or son. Who's going to handle the situation? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, sir. Yes.
It's a safety measure. It is not.
Yeah, quick point. Ambika Shukla, do you want to take that?
I can't hear.
Yes, you know, yes, when I say don't run, it's for your own safety, because when you run, dogs instinctively chase. For them, it is a game. It is not to be seen as an attack, but as a game that, you know, that can have tragic consequences. Which
So
is
people
why
don't
it
plan
is
and run. I
advised
mean,
that
you know,
please do
this
not
is out
run.
of
What we
fear.
need is
Abba
more
Singh,
education and
what do we do about this?
in schools. Absolutely, and that fear has to be countered through awareness and through education. What we need is clubs in schools
Okay.
to teach us about the animals.
Is that the right approach,
and
Abba
when
Singh?
we learn about their behavior, we don't.
See, the issue is not if the dog is ferocious, you need to remove it from the residential areas. If it is biting again and again, in fact, Supreme Court has also said that municipal corporations must take notice of these dogs that are ferocious. So just because animal lovers come and say, no, they have territorial rights and they must live in the area where they live, I think that is too bizarre when we are losing innocent lives. A child will not know when to run and when to stop. How can this logic be used on a child?
Dr. Bagai, how do you see this?
That is
What do we do?
like we teach them about traffic rules. We teach them about traffic rules.
Good evening, Pranesh. So I don't agree with the first panelist who's animal rights activist. Talking just scientifically, this is not a rare event. This is not a one-off case or an isolated case. We see more than 30 to 60% of the world's stray dog bite cases in India. More than 30% of the world's rabies caseload is in India. We are losing more than 20,000 lives and more than 24 lakh cases of dog bites as stray dog bites in India annually. Now, a child who's an infant or a toddler knows little better than to run. You can't expect a small infant as 1 year or a 2-year-old to be standing still and the dog is coming just to sniff or to play. Now, the fact actually here is that we need to put accountability and liability. One is at a corporate level. I think the stray dogs need to be rounded up. They need a safe house. They need animal homes, shelter homes to house them, but they can't run amok. Point number 2 is the residents who on good faith are feeding these stray dogs are actually encouraging these dogs to come into societies, colonies and residential areas, which is fraught with danger. This is a preventable curse. Let me say it again.
Right.
This is an abandoned
Dr. Bagai,
issue.
just hold your thoughts.
Yes,
more
we need
viewers
awareness
on the line patiently waiting. Let's hear from them. Please, let me bring in Mr. Bharadwaj, who's joining us from Mumbai. Sir, good evening.
Good evening. Able to hear me?
Yes, sir, loud and clear.
I am spot on. I agree with what the doctor said. These people who feed stray dogs actually encourage dog bites. People like animal activists should be held accountable. Police complaints should be filed against them by the parents of the children who have died. If this happens to the animal lovers' children, if a dog bites their children or grandchildren to death, will they react in such a philosophical manner?
Now, Ms.
They should be
Suryavanshi,
ashamed of themselves. Human life is more important than animal life.
point noted, sir. Radhika Suryavanshi, what would you say to someone who's saying this?
Okay, so let me first clarify that the incident that has happened is very sad and tragic. It should not happen to anybody, especially a child. I've watched the video. So, the only way to tackle this, the only solution to this is having an effective sterilization program, an ABC program in that area. This is happening majorly because of the dog overpopulation crisis. A lot of times because, dogs are territorial in nature for food or for territory, they end up fighting amongst each other, and then an incident of such type might happen, where a human gets caught in the middle of it. So the only scientific method to dealing with this situation is to make sure that the animals in your area are sterilized, and animals that are picked up for sterilization are also vaccinated, so that is even safer. So as society, the incident that has happened cannot be reversed. I agree, and our condolences to the family that has gone through this. But to make sure that this does not happen again, that this incident
this
does
keeps
not ever
happening
repeat.
again and again. And let me bring in our viewer Prabhu, who's joining us from Bengaluru. Sir, good evening.
Good evening, Times Now. See, I am watching this program from last half an hour. But the scene, what we see about the kid being attacked, it's so touching. I'm not able to digest this. The only problem, what I feel, pets has to be kept in their limits. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, loud and clear, sir. Go ahead.
So now we have lost a life. We lost a life. And he doesn't know what he was doing. So we can't educate kids at that age not to run if a dog comes to you. But I sincerely, I'm very depressed seeing this slide.
So are we, sir, gut-wrenching visuals, like you said, this life is not coming back again. We don't have much time on the show. The last word on the show goes to Abha Singh. Abha Singh, sum this up for us. Abha Singh, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you just say again?
You have the last word on the show, ma'am. What do we do?
You know, the issue here is this dog matter is there in Bombay High Court, Kerala High Court, Supreme Court is also seized of it. But the issue here is we have to show compassion for dogs. Everybody talks of fundamental duties that you have to show compassion. But my issue is that you have to have guidelines so that they do not come into residential areas, gated communities. You give them food in particular areas. Don't let them come into areas, parks where children play. So that has to be taken care of. Supreme Court has also and High Courts have time and again said that dogs that are ferocious, that are causing a nuisance, that need to be looked into. So I think shelter homes are the place for them, not residential areas. And all these NGOs that promote dogs, like maybe the PCA people or the AWBI people who come and don't listen to reason, it's time they should also listen to reason, and there should be a consensus on how this menace has to be tackled. We cannot lose our young children to such barbaric deaths.
Well said. That's all the time we had. Dr. Bagai, Radhika Suryavanshi, Abha Singh, Amrita Shukla. Thanks for joining us on this very sensitive and disturbing topic that we discussed. That's all we could pack in, viewers. Thanks for watching.
Hello and welcome.